Yeah, so what? It's your boy, Bits and Bobs. Yes, people, another episode of Bits and Bobs Meets. And today I'm very happy to say that we have a very, very popular Man United fan on the YouTube game who has graced me with his presence for tonight. He's probably going to get it in by his missus later on. So am I. But listen, you got to take one for the team. We're taking a booking tonight. Adam Matic, how you doing? Welcome to the Bits and Bobs show. How are you?
I'm very good, mate. Thank you. Thanks for having us on, mate. Yeah, I'm like I said before, off air. Then happy that the week is almost over. Not particularly looking forward as such to what happens tomorrow, and we all know what is happening tomorrow. But yeah, mate, I'm working week is done, and yeah, happy to come online on a Friday night and chill out and just talk anything, mate. You know what I mean? It's just good to chill out on a Friday, knowing that it's easier to talk when you don't have to do much the next day, innit? It's
True,
always better, innit? That's what it
true,
is. But
true,
no,
true.
good, mate. Pleasure to be on.
Oh no, thank you so much for coming on. Really so appreciate it. Like I was saying before, fan of yours anyway. So to be able to actually conversate with you is
Hmm.
fantastic. We've got to talk about the elephant in the room, Manchester United. We both support them. I've caught up on some of your shows and like just now you're here. What I mean in 60 seconds. I mean, what did you think? I mean, if you could put Tuesday's horrible viewing in 60 seconds, what would you say?
Clueless. If, like Ollie said, we did talk about frailties that we've had the last few weeks, which is starting games slow, having poor first halves, then I don't think he's talked about it a lot
Mm-hmm.
because we went straight into that game uber defensive and we looked even worse. Uh, I can understand the formation we played, but the players didn't look like they knew what they were doing. They took it for granted. We had too many defenders and defensive midfielders in there, passing responsibility to one another, no organisation, no leadership. What's new? And in the end, paid the ultimate price. We got beat by the better team, the better tactician. And even people saying we left it and we were close in the end, I'm not paying any attention to because we was lucky. We shouldn't
Yep.
have had that penalty. And you know what? We got what we deserved at the end of the day, mate. And I'm devastated that we're out of the Champions League and I have to. Well, I'm not changing my Thursday nights just for these lot, so they can go screw it, mate. You know what I mean? I was that angry with them on Tuesday night that I just Europa League is nothing to me. I'm devastated to be in the competition with Arsenal. And,
I
just
know.
watching Arsenal play Dundalk. Was it Dundalk last night? I'm thinking, is
Horrible,
that what
wasn't
we're
it?
dropping down to now?
Oh, horrible.
Oh,
Horrible.
God, no.
Like,
But, mate, no, we got what we deserved. And in the end, out of the competition. So, no complaints for how we wasn't upset in terms of how we played because I accepted we were bad. And, like I said, it's in that Champions League at that higher level of football. You can't play like that. You get punished. And we have been
exactly.
twice now. Twice, no, three times actually, we've been punished in it. And it cost us in the end. It's not the Premier League. The opposition is a lot better, and yeah, well, we got what we deserve, mate. Simple as we're out.
No, no,
Away
no,
we go.
100% agree with you. And you said you couldn't have said it any better than me. I've rewatched the game and I'm
Oh, that must have been
hands. I'm
painful.
just like, oh my goodness. And my wife saying to me, "What you're doing?" I was like, "I don't know." And sometimes I woke up and thought, I woke up with a headache. I woke up in the middle of the night, like, did that actually happen? Like, this is what I don't
Mate, you
think
should.
they do to us.
Funny you should say that, mate, because I was on Saeed's show, United Central, yesterday, and he said he didn't go in work because he had a migraine the next day. So you're not the only one, mate. It affects us. I don't think they realise how much it affects us because you go to bed, like you said, then and you're like, oh no, Thursday nights. Oh, I can't take the stick. And then the one game you didn't really want, on top of that, especially me living in Manchester, being a Manchester lad, if that
Imagine,
goes
yeah,
wrong,
100%.
if that goes wrong, well, they're trying to kill Christmas, mate, aren't they? That's what they're trying to do to us. As if it wasn't hard enough as it was at the moment. I mean, come on. It was, I know exactly what you mean, mate. You have to take a double check to go, are we out? Did that happen? Were we that bad? And yeah, we were. And unfortunately, we have to take it on the chin.
That's the thing. That's the thing. And do you know what? I'm glad you said that because I think, like, I'm 31, Adam, right? So I started supporting my United like early 90s, right? And my uncle used to take me to Old Trafford, from London and stuff and everything. And I used to try and make the trip down from Scotland. And I don't think people realize that, like, we're supposed to be in the Champions League. It's supposed to be automatic. It's supposed to be a permanent fixture. We're supposed to hear that anthem. And the fact that I was sitting in my living room, I was doing a live, my very first live, and I regret it. I don't want to do one ever again. And I'm thinking, we've just been beaten by a club called Red Bull, and we've struggled against a team that didn't play a recognised striker. Now, that's like you playing in the garden with your little boy, and for some reason, he just turns you over. It's one of the most things that I've never expected. But listen, let's segue. We'll quickly touch on the derby. Like I said to you before we went live, I wasn't confident, and I'm still not confident. I've done a preview with Jan from Jan City on Sarcasm City, actually, yeah. And she's licking her lips, man. I think they're going to eat us up, bro. What's your thoughts?
If there's one team I don't want to play right now, then it's City. It really is, mate. Because I've got all my mates, and they're ready, mate. Seriously, they've got the phones, and they're like this. They're ready. They're ready to. Soon as we start shipping, then they're on it, mate. I'm getting it now. Mate, already. So, one team I really didn't want to play, and people will say, "Yeah, City. We might get a reaction. It's a bigger club. This is the perfect game to play against." Well, no, I'm looking at City going, oh man, they look like they're just simmering, don't they, right now? Aguero's back. They're playing well. They look like they've got the defensive frailties sorted out, and it looks like they're a lot more settled and solid. And I'm like, oh, we couldn't have asked for this at a worse time. They're just ready to rub salt in the wound, mate. I'm looking at that defence and I'm going, you know what? We're going to have to go out swinging. We're going to have to just go out swinging because we're not going to be able to defend and hold out against that. We're not 100%. Going to be able to do it. The last season may have worked, but the defence was nowhere near in the state it was confidence-wise when we played City last season. So, for me, there's only one way we get anything out of this game, and sadly, it's going toe-to-toe with them because we're not going to be able to hold out. We haven't got the players, and the confidence isn't good enough, I don't think, to go defensive. So, I'd rather see us go out swinging, mate. I really would. I mean, that's where our strength is in our forward line. But I've just got a horrible feeling he's going to go with his usual negative outlook on it and try and hold it. And then all of a sudden, you know what? We're 1 down, we're 2 down, and then we're doing exactly what we did against Leipzig, who are the German version of City, aren't they? Literally, all the money coming in and trying to take over the league. No one likes them. Oh, mate, it's one of them where I think every United fan knows that, you know what, maybe our luck has run out. It's just got that feeling about it, mate, right now. That's all it is. I may be completely wrong, but it's just got that feeling about it. And tomorrow, I'll be up. I'll be ready for it. I'll be buzzing. I'll be hoping that we can beat them, but deep down, that absolutely zapped everything out of me on Tuesday night, mate.
Yeah,
it affected me more than any other game, and that it's going to take a lot to pick me up. I'll be backing the boys obviously tomorrow, fighting my corner, but you know when it's like, what's the equivalent here? It's like Anthony Joshua in the ring, innit? You know what I mean? It's like. It's like David Hay going in against Anthony Joshua. That's what it's like. You know, he's got something there. And on the one day, he may catch him. But reality is, he's just going to get taken apart. It's horrible. You don't want to think this way. But what you've seen so far this season sways you so far that way. And then, like I said, that stat that came up the other day, I think Ollie will be the first manager since 1972 to have lost 4 league games at home before Christmas.
Tough.
Oh man, that is compared to the away form that we've had. It's night and day, mate. It's so weird, this football club at the moment. You don't know how to feel, and that's how it feels going into the weekend.
It's you know what you said? That have you noticed that since Fergie left, Man United have always been in the conversation of stats. We've always heard a stat. We're always the team that someone's never won at Old Trafford. or we've never won how many games in a row, or we've conceded this, blah, blah, blah. Just before I carry on, Adam, I don't know if you see that shirt from Sam from Samuel Sam, who's on the terrace sometimes. He says, "Whoa, Adam, you're lucky you have friends who are Man City fans. Very lucky that they are a rare sight." He's actually going on one right now.
Mate, there'll be plenty of blue shirts out if that result goes. There'll be all them blue Santa hats going around, I'm telling you. If that result goes their way, they'll be out in force. I just want to stick it to him again, mate. I loved playing them last season. They were some of my best.
100%. I actually watched your. I believe you. Did you not go? Did you not go with your kids? Was that the game?
I went. Which ones did I go last year? So the home game, I was with Alfie. Yeah, and that was buzzing. That everything was flying everywhere. Scott McTominay. Then we had the home game, the away game at City in the league. That was the best one. That was a brilliant. You know what, mate? You get them nights, don't you? And it's happened again. Every time United play City, Anthony Joshua fights the same night. I don't know what it is, but every time he's fighting, it's the derby. And it was Anthony Joshua and Ruiz part 2. And everyone was at the house waiting. It was all watching it. So we had the City fans, United fans all watching it. I was at the game. And then I was just buzzing, came outside, absolutely buzzing, and I knew I was going right into a house full of City fans, ready to watch the boxing. It was just one of them good days, mate. It was just like, oh yes, please.
And I was happy to won as well, so that was a great day. So okay, the last thing we'll touch upon on our club. That's the positive thing I could say about them right now. Just a quick starting 11 and formation. I want to see a 4-3-3. I know we're not going to see it. He's obviously going to play. They're coming in with the City high line: a Fernandes, Dink ball, Rashford pacing behind Dan James, maybe Lingard. You're very optimistic, Centre FC. Listen, if we win like that all day, I'll take the 3 points.
Yeah, optimistic to see Lingard. That's the one.
Sam says the 2-0 game before lockdown was a great performance, very great game. Well, yeah, 100%. So, Adam. Last question on the topic with them. Who would you start?
Oh, mate, this is... You know what I said the other day? I said it on Saeed's. I went, I don't care. That's how down I was, mate. Because I think anyone who wears that United shirt should be good enough to play and has to be good enough to play against Manchester City and get a reaction. Ultimately, I had to look at it with an Ollie hat on. And like you said, Den, is this formation we want to see? We're not going to see. I've got a horrible feeling he does go back to 4 at the back. And you know what? I ain't got a problem with 4 at the back. But the reason I say horrible is because I think he's going to replace Tellez with Shaw because he's one of his go-to men. I'll be devastated if I see that. He's going to back Lingard, Lindelof and Maguire again in the middle. He's too afraid to drop any one of them 4, including Wan-Bissaka.
Yep.
The midfield, I think, will be Fred and McTominay.
Yeah, I think that's always. But I'd like to see Fred and Van de Beek personally.
Yeah. No, I'd love to see Fred, then Van de Beek on the right, and Bruno on the left, and then a front 3 and a 4-3-3. But I just don't think that's ever going to happen. So I don't see Pogba getting anywhere near the team. I'm in the boat of he probably shouldn't until someone comes out and sorts the mess out at the club that's going on behind the scenes.
Yeah,
but I just feel he's never played that I can remember. Definitely not this season. The 5 at the back at home. I think he will play it. It just depends who he plays as the extra. If Luke Shaw's in there, then again I've got a problem with shoehorning players into positions. I'm not for it. But
that they don't play, right? Exactly.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'd go front 3. I can't even remember. I've seen some news before, but I don't know if Cavani is fit or not. But I need that know-how up front. I really do. I would have Greenwood and Rashford either side of him in the front 3 if I could. But I know what's coming. That would be it. So I've had Van de Beek and Bruno in front of Fred, who's holding, with Cavani, Rashford and Greenwood up front, because I know Martial's injured. And that would be how I would go at it. I know it's going to be Bruno behind Rashford and Greenwood like it was against Leipzig, and I think we're playing into City's hands because Pep will already have a plan, having seen what happened. It's a simple thing. you high press United, you take
You get
Bruno
the
out the
ball back.
game, and you'll
You
get
get
a
the ball
win.
back. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think. Do you know? Here's look. I think we're easy to play against personally,
Yeah,
and I
it
think
is.
we've got players easy to target us. Wan-Bissaka. I love Wan-Bissaka. Um, you know, taking it back, all he says is we're never going to play a back five. When he came in, we're going to play attacking football. We're going to attack. If that's the case, you don't really buy Wan-Bissaka, do you? And
No.
don't get me
I
wrong,
mean,
he's a great defensive right back. But if you're saying you're going to attack, you don't buy Wan-Bissaka because on the ball, I'm sure me and you could probably do better 1-2s or something, or a better back heel even. So I think, I just think that he's going to go defensive and try and hit them on the counter attack. And Pep's not stupid; he's not naive. So we seem not to have a B plan. And then when he comes down waving his hands, and I'm just like, I need more than that. But listen, enough about them lot. Let's enjoy our Friday night and let's move it on. So basically, I was talking about to you, when I reached out to you, and you replied, talking about like mental health in the game, in society, and in life in general. In Scotland, like I'm trying to like pioneer, just like to make sure that people talk about it. It's okay not to be okay. We've seen that happening, and like I believe it was. In fact, no, I think we missed it. I can't remember, but like there was an advert and stuff, and you see all the things that go on. I think a person from Newcastle recently. Was it a fan committed suicide or something like that? Please,
Yes,
someone in
sorry,
the
yeah.
fan. Yeah, and like
That was
that got
horrible.
me, man. It really got me because it's tough. And I just want to know, what's your thoughts? You've got a massive platform. I know we talk about football and stuff. You're a busy guy, you're a family man and stuff. I mean, mental health. I mean, what's your opinion on it? And like, what's your 2 cents on the actual subject itself? And do you agree people should speak out more?
Mate, I think it's bigger than COVID itself. That's how I look at it. I really do. I mean, you talked about platforms then, and I had a guy onto my channel from Russia, believe it or not, from Russia, and he says, I think he was a bit apprehensive to do it, but he actually put it on a super chat, and it meant a lot because he super chatted it just so he could get it out there and just thank me, and I think Saeed as well at the time for completely for putting content out constantly. He actually said in his comment that he was on the brink. He said he was in severe depression. He was struggling with life in general, with everything that was going on, and he just wanted to thank us for putting the content out and bringing him through, man. Constantly talking and bringing as many people on as we possibly can, which is why I try and speak to and get onto and get as many people involved all the time, because you just don't know. Some people, you come on and you take it for granted sometimes, all the comments and people on, we have the banter and stuff like that, but you'd start to notice when you get a big platform that you've got regulars. And there's a girl on from the NHS called Kelly, who lives on her own. She won one of the prizes that I did in the giveaway the other day, and she said, I come in from a long shift and this is what keeps me going, coming on here, just listening and just contributing and being able to do like we do on the stream here, bringing comments on, and even people chatting in the comment section. But that one especially, that one took, and that was like a moment where it was like, wow, it was like, you know what, we are serving a purpose as well, and getting people involved, and for someone to come out with a chat like that, a comment like that, and say it in front of I think we had quite a lot in the room at the time, and and then he started DMing me on Instagram as well, so he got in touch there, and it was massive. I didn't even see myself as someone who was doing that or making a difference. But it just goes to show, like you said then, that people like on platforms like ours can come out and speak with confidence about the troubles that they're having. And you know what, mate, he's not been the only one. He's just that one who I just sticks there in my mind because he was from Russia. I don't know why, because people in every corner of the world who are dealing with it. But I have fans on from, mate, all four corners of the globe. You would not believe some of the places where people are watching from. And you know what, mate? We haven't got it bad compared to some of these guys. There's a lot of suffering in every country, but I'm with you, mate, totally. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be talked about every day. I think clubs should do more. I think they are starting to do more now. And it's massive, mate. It's a massive killer. And I mean, I've had moments myself where I've been struggling. I wouldn't speak to anyone. I talked to the missus and she says, why didn't you talk about it before? I said, I just keep myself busy and try and ignore it. But
Yeah.
sometimes when someone else talks to you about it, you're like, yeah, I really should be saying a little bit more. You're trying to pass it off like you're a man, you know what I mean? The
That's it.
stereotypical,
I'm glad you
you
said that, Adam,
don't be
because for
soft
some
and all
reason,
that.
yes, for some reason, in the gene pool of the male, we have this pride, don't
Yeah,
we? We
that's
have
it.
this, me and you're old school, man. You don't talk about your feelings. What's that
Mm,
about? You suck it up or you get on with it. And that really shouldn't be the case, should it? We should talk. And I think, in the generations we grew up in, it wasn't really a subject, was it? It wasn't, you couldn't tell someone if you weren't feeling all right because you just suck it up and then get on with it. Physically, you'll probably just get through it, but mentally, you're
you
just
don't
like,
realise what it's doing inside, do you?
exactly, exactly. And I'm glad and thank you for saying that because, I'm trying to like get many more people, many males as well as females, to talk about it and say, look, what's your thoughts on it? Because I mean, I was telling you off air, when lockdown went in, I didn't have any football to play physically. I didn't have any football to watch, and my wife and our son, it was just like, for me personally, I was like, oh, what do I do now? I was stuck in the house,
Yeah.
working from home. I didn't have my release, and it was like, okay, so I thought to myself, I'll start drinking just to not talk, and then like my wife was like, look, go for a run, go do something, release. And then I came on YouTube, just started watching your show, Saeed's show, Sarcasm City, Stroll, all of those people. And
Yeah.
man,
Good
I've said
lad.
it before, and it's like you don't realize, stuff like that is so powerful because it's like, okay, I'm getting my fix here, I'm getting my release here, and I speak to my wife all the time. I'm very fortunate that my wife is my best friend, and I think it's something that I encourage people to do with their partners or their wives or their spouses because it's there's no shame in saying to your spouse, by the way, I'm not good right now. I'm not good, and I encourage anyone that watches this back, to speak out because knowing that you can speak to someone without being judged and know that there's a support and it's a safe free zone. It's one of the best support systems, of best support you can ever have. Yeah, I just encourage in that. And I talking about mental health and obviously dealing with it. How do you feel? Like, I know there must be some nice warm feeling when someone says that thank you, and like even though you feel like you're not really doing anything, it does put things into perspective, Adam. Wouldn't you say?
Mate, you know what? And this is the comparisons. You could say it's probably not relevant, but it took me back to when someone actually came up to me outside Old Trafford
Exactly.
and said, can I get a picture?" I was like, "What? I follow you on YouTube. You're brilliant on YouTube. I love all your opinions. I mean, I love watching your show. I look forward to it every single week." And I'm like, "Wow." But it was sort of like one of them moments where it's like someone actually came on with a few thousand people obviously watching videos and stuff to actually say it and go, and it hits you massively. Like, I cannot
Mm,
describe it. The feeling is something I've not felt before. It was just like, wow, it's like a privilege in a way,
mm,
yeah, to actually affect someone and help someone through a tough time just by doing what you love. Then it's crazy, mate. It really is. It took me back, and I made a point of getting the guy to message me, DM me on social
yeah.
media, and I spoke with him privately on there as well, just to make sure he was okay. And whenever he wanted to chat on Instagram, Twitter, whatever it was, whichever platform, I was there. I replied to as many messages as I possibly can. You can imagine it gets crazy,
Yeah.
but I do. People who stand out and are constant followers of the channel, and sometimes you take it for granted that they're there constantly, like they just
Mm,
love talking football. But for them is a big release, just feeling like they're part of the chat, feeling like they're part of the show, and can actually communicate with you on social media as well. It's massive, and that for me was bigger than getting a certain level of subscribers, mate, because you only get to that level and get them comments if you are out there putting the content out and people are liking what you're doing, if you're involving people and you're making them feel welcome. So that was like a big thing for me, like, you know what, I'm doing something good as well as something that I love. And that's how it sort of came across to me. And so yeah, it took me back, but you know what, I felt really good.
Amazing. And you know what? Salute to you, man. Seriously, because there's people like myself that look at you and like, yeah, I want to try and do what he does. Put up the content, watch what he does, try and learn, and try and imprint your own personality. So no, man, salute to you. That seriously. Segueing on to the next topic, I wanted to touch base with you.
I love the segue in, mate. It's great.
I got it from a friend I made. His name's Mioa, and he does the Stoppage Time TV podcast. Yeah. So I stole it from him after speaking to him. But yeah, as we were segueing in, racism. Now, racism in football and racism in society. Racism in society is a tough one. Because unfortunately, it hurts me to say it, but I think racism won't die because there will be always ignorant people, and sometimes you just can't reach out to everyone. Yeah. What I want to talk to you about is the racism in football, and 2020 has been some year, Adam, for so many things, and for me, it's resurrected the racism in this country and in the UK, and we could touch on the PSG game, the Millwall fans, Paul Pogba, Mason Greenwood, Marcus Rashford. Those are all recent incidents, which is quite frightening. And I mean, what's your? I mean, you're a white male, you're a white English male. What's your thoughts on it? I know you're not racist because you have a very diverse show and stuff, and also diverse friends. Like I said to you, the work I do in Scotland, in Edinburgh, I'm the leader of the BAME network. We're trying to, we're promoting anti-racism, trying to encourage a representation of society within our organisation. So there is more female leaders, more blacks and Asians and so on, and anyone with visible ethnicity to be represented, have a safe network so where they can come speak and be free. And to be honest, like you said, just so they can feel accepted, to be honest. I used to say this all the time, the playground at school is a very lonely place, if you don't have any friends and stuff. So what's your thoughts on the racism that's happening right now?
It's like you said, mate. It's real. I've seen it firsthand. As you know, I go to all the games.
Yeah.
And I've seen it, and you can only describe it as it's there in front of you. It's real because, and some people will ignore it until it's actually smack bang in the face, and you can see it for real. And it takes me back to the Watford game last season. This time last year, actually, Christmas time. It was a horrible game, but Pogba came on in the second half. He'd been out for a few weeks and he'd done nothing. He'd done nothing for weeks, obviously, because, like I said, he was out injured. Came on as a substitute and was the best player on the pitch for both teams within 15 minutes of stepping foot on it. Yet still, I was there. I sort of eased back and let the crowds go out before I go out the stadium. And Pogba came over to the away stand, and there were some guys there who were just literally stood there hurling abuse at him. I'm not going to go into what they were saying, but you can imagine. The subject we're talking about. Hurling abuse at him, and he just stood there clapping. Maybe sarcastically in the end, deliberately to them, because a lot of the stand had emptied. But it's like they were waiting there to just have a jab at him in particular because he'd come on the pitch. Like I said, you can't really go on and say it was football related. And they were hurling abuse at him for that because he'd just come back that day, having been about 6 or 7 weeks out and been the best player on the park. So you know it wasn't football related. You know where 100%. They were going with it.
Yeah.
And I went outside and I was talking to Damesh and Selikov from Sky Sports. believe it or
Nice one,
not.
nice
Yeah.
one.
And they asked
Dropping a
me.
few names there. All right,
Yeah,
okay, I
I
know.
know. It was like a Christmas transfer special, as we know. Them guys are the transfer gurus on Sky.
Yeah,
So they came out talking to a few United fans. I was there. Flex Owen, who was on my channel a lot, he was
I
there
like
as
Owen.
well.
He hates a drink, eh?
Yeah, and and they were talking, and he came to me. Damish came to me and said, Adam, he says, what do you think about Paul Pogba? And I explained to him then, at that moment, about what was happening inside. And he said, why? Why do you think that is? And you know what? You can't really answer that question there. I said, there's no particular... I said, I don't know, honestly. I don't know why. But it is like they're going to that game with... they're going there deliberately to do what they do. It's as
It's hate
simple as
Adam,
that.
isn't it?
Yeah, they're not fans. I don't call them guys fans. It's the same guy who was hurling abuse at him at the Cardiff game. Yeah, you can say no racial slurs came out of his mouth that day, but why Pogba at that time? And a lot has gone on with Pogba recently. And yeah, I'm in the boat of I think it needs to be sorted out. And I think Pogba is probably done at United football-wise. But he wasn't that bad then. And this is what I'm trying to get at. They were picking on him. And then I think it moves into the media as well. I don't understand with what happened with Greenwood and Phil Foden and the England duty, why Greenwood got the raw end of the stick. I really don't know. I had Flawless on my show and I had cameraman Miles on, talking to me regarding this exact subject. And they talked about it and they started talking about the racial side of it. Why it was going harder on Greenwood with his circumstances that were going on at the time, which we all know about now.
Yeah.
And they said it's racist. And then I got a few comments in the comments section. Why are you playing the racist cards? That's just a poor excuse out. And that brought it all again to light. And they both messaged me privately afterwards. And I said, don't worry about it. I says, I'm in agreement with it. There's no other explanation why. But just there in what you asked me, I see it on the terraces.
Yeah.
I see it in the public. I see it in the media side of things. And it all comes down to education, mate. The best thing I've seen from it was like what Shaka Islop is doing with his foundation that's been going for a long time. And that's education at a young age. He said that he's educated, or he's had 850,000 students go through his program. So he has spoke to 850,000 kids, school kids, and they've gone through their program, educating them on different. I can never say the words. Different religions, different
creeds, cultures.
Yes, that's it. And he said a teacher then came back with some more students who knew everything that was going on and what was going to happen in the classes, and he couldn't understand how she knew so much. But she was one of the kids that went years before and had come back and brought her class to go and learn what Shaka Islop and his foundation were doing. So it's been going that long, and that's like a good sign for me, because listening to that man speak, again, there are people out there who talk about it, but then there are people who talk about it and have actually done something about it. You could sit there and listen to the guy all day. And that's, I think, is the way that it needs to be. That's the way it needs to be treated, educated at an early age, because I don't think the education is there for a lot of these people. And the guys that you were talking about then are the ones that refuse to even look at that side of it, the education of it, and they're there, what you would call the old school sort of fan, because that's who definitely was there on that day in Watford that I seen. And you talked about Millwall and that there, and like the old school sort of hooligan side of things, the hard-faced ones. It is a horrible thing, mate, and I see it constantly in the stands every single week. I see it. You can imagine the people I work with, what I work with the United stands, with Flex rants, with Josh, the cameraman, Miles, the cameraman, and mate, I've seen sights. We've been attacked. I've been out with Saeed, and we were both stood there, and we're probably both equally hated as much as each of as the other in terms of how that United fan base look at us. Well, considering the abuse we get online and from some messages.
Yeah.
But we were both stood outside Sheffield United after the 3-3 game last season, and one guy deliberately, we were both stood there, there was no one else around, and he deliberately walked past Saeed and elbowed him in the back and started giving him dog's abuse. We were both there. He had to go around me to get to Saeed. I don't know, maybe I'm 6'4", over 16 stone, so maybe a little intimidating, I don't know. But that, for me, that's how I see it. I'm like, why him? There's only one reason.
Yeah.
And that is the colour of skin. That's how I see it. And that's what I've seen firsthand. And you know what? People think because they're at the game and they can get away with it with emotions. It's not. You can't. It's wrong. I've seen absolute idiots on the terraces, mate. You would not believe some things.
No, I do. I remember I was a young boy, and I went to Scotland against Trinidad and Tobago.
Wow.
At the Easter Road game, Hibernian's ground, and I was obviously sitting in the Scotland, obviously, so I was going to support Scotland, and grown men calling every black player everything.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there in front of them, and they're tapping my shoulder. Excuse me, I'm just going to get the door real quickly. Sorry, Adam.
Yeah, go for it, mate. I'm running the show, people. This is Bitz and Bob's Mad Red United.
I'm back. Sorry.
I was just taking over them for a minute.
Oh, feel free, man. I'm glad. It's a pleasure. That's my wife back there.
Ah, there she is.
So, yes, as I was saying, what's it called? I was in the Scotland end, and shout out Benji. I was in the Scotland end, so you can imagine I was chuffed. I was like, oh, I'm getting to see Scotland play. You know, I was with my football club, so we got free tickets. And then as soon as the game kicked off, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. In fact, you know what? Let me not lie to you. I was shocked at what I was hearing. Mm-hmm. I was just really surprised that as a black man sitting in front of them, they still said it. And I was just like, and then I got a tap on my shoulder saying, oh, you're one of us, lad. Don't worry about it. I'm not racist. It's just for the game. And then our football coach,
I've heard that.
Our football coach just took me home. He was like, and he was just like, I'm taking you home. And he drove me home, and he just kept apologizing, saying he was embarrassed. He says, not everyone's like that, blah, 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 and stuff. And I just said to him, I was like, I've had that all my life. And he goes, no, you have the right to go to a football ground and be able to enjoy it. And it actually put me off. I didn't go. And then, lo and behold, I went to a Rangers Hibs game, and I'm in the Hibs stand with my friend just before Christmas, actually. And that's a fierce fixture, I'll tell you that, Adam. Like Rangers and Hibs, they don't like each other. And Hibs had a black player playing centre midfield, and he was quite petite, you know, strong but good on the ball. And I was just waiting for it, which is sad because I knew it was happening. And then lo and behold, you black, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking, he's your own player, you know. Yeah. And like the guy, one of my friends was like, let's go beat him up. Let's go. And I was just like, nah, it's fine. Don't worry about it. He was like, no, he's not going to talk about someone's skin color. And I was like, look, it's fine. I was like, thank you very much. But it's cool. I just went home. I remember my wife was like, what's wrong? And I was like, I don't want to talk about it. And she was like, racism. I was like, yeah. So my wife already knew, and she's mixed race herself. So she already knew. So I kind of stopped going to football matches. And look, let me go, you know, disclaimer here. I'm not saying every fan in Scotland is racist. No. Just in my experience that I've been to these games, you know, I've witnessed it. And sometimes it's not even against me. And it's like, wow. I always say to myself, do you really hate black people? Or do you just think I'm going to call them that? And, you know, there's a thing saying that people say not every racist is a bad person because you have casual racism, you have unconscious bias racism, which is fine. However, my argument is that everyone knows Yeah, but everyone knows right and wrong, Adam, don't they?
Yeah,
You
that's
know,
it.
and when it goes to the media, like you said, right? When I saw the things about Mason Greenwood and Foden, I tweeted out something like, "Thank God Mason's single and he didn't have a kid and a partner at home."
Exactly.
You know,
Yeah.
and the languages they use for the black players is it's not a surprise anymore. I'm like any black person or any um, Asian or ethnic person does that. Um, we'll be like, yeah, here we go again. Um, it's just now. It's just like, come on, like I'd rather you just called them the name and kept it moving than go through all these adjectives and nouns and blah blah and all these metaphors, blah blah. You know, do you know what? Have a dig at him for his playing ability.
Yeah.
But don't say he's this and he's that. And you see the language they use. And look, Phil Foden, not a peep. Jack
Not a peep.
Grealish, I don't know if you saw it recently.
Yeah,
Uh,
I did.
yeah, not a peep. But if a certain footballer gets a haircut, Adam, he dances. But yeah, no,
The case in point was what Rashford did with his houses. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Why was that such a massive deal? The Daily Mail. Why was that such a massive deal for Marcus Rashford? Yeah, in yesteryears gone by, you've had Michael Owen, Robbie Fowler, John Terry, Phil Foden did exactly the
Frank
same
Lampard done
thing.
it.
Yeah, and
Frank
for some
Lampard done it.
reason, it's a big deal. Now you can say, oh yeah, maybe United factor. People will say it's because it's United big, but there's a common denominator there, isn't there? In all the
100%,
players that we
100%.
that we just spoke about, and it's like, and I think that was part of the conversation that came up when I was on with Beaks Flawless, a few other guys on Third Eye View, and they were just like, it's obviously there, and people will just then say and come straight back at you, oh, you're playing the racist card. You're automatically playing the racist card. It's not like that. I said, well, where's the story come from then?
Exactly.
How and why? You know what I mean? It wasn't brought up before, but now it is. And it's, oh, mate, it's crazy. And the media, well, I don't say TV media especially, but the newspapers, that side of it, I just don't know. I don't know where or why they would even go down that route, and it's so clearly obvious. And then you had the comment that was it the member of the FA, was it? I thought got
Greg
retired.
Clark.
Greg Clark. Sorry, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
like, wow, seriously, that's just like a guy who has no idea about reality, has no idea what he's saying, and for him to come out and say it several times apparently as well, and
yep.
in other cases before, so freely, like it's nothing. Comes down to education again, and the unwillingness
100%.
to change. I think they were the ones who've been in the job longest. It's all right for them to say certain things, and in the end, it cost him his job, and rightly so, because
Yes,
there'll
and I
be plenty of
think
people working in that industry that are not white, and they're from all over the world, different religions and all sorts. So his staff that are working under him will probably look at him going, "What? Really? This is the
exactly.
guy that we look up to." There's no reason, there's no surprise that he lost his job.
And if you think about how many black players are in the English fold, do you know?
It's mental, mate. It's mental. A lot of our bright young prospects are
Or
all
black.
black players. You know what I mean? We've got so many, and yet just I'm not even going to get into it. The excuse of being at football and the emotions of it is just
Yeah, it's
completely
coward.
to
Listen,
bollocks,
that's
mate.
listen. I mean, we're not going to give those people time of day. Look, it's coward. You know what I mean? So what? People, nah, it's not. It's not even. Look, and you're right. And the way I want to conclude this is by the education part. And I'm glad you said that. And in my organization, my employer, and obviously the board that I'm on with the charity and stuff, it's education. Let's put people who have real life experiences to be able to go and teach. Now, you don't need any academic qualifications, because firsthand I can tell you, and we need people, we need representation, because we can't have white people trying to train people on racism. And when I say that, I mean that a white British person will probably have less chance of racism or discrimination. So how could they feel comfortable to teach that? So that's like you saying to me, Adam, Bobby, this is how I think you should treat and deal with racism. When you wouldn't be able to understand, or I mean, you can show empathy, okay, because you've got a good heart. You can show empathy and understand the situation, but you can never understand. And I feel if we put representation in those kind of training positions, or for example, here's an idea: why don't you have in your clubs or in the FA that once every 2 weeks, or once a month, you have someone that says, look, this is the language barrier. This is what you can do. This is what you can't and can't say. And you know what? This is why you can't say it. Because if you called someone boy, if you said it to a black person, that's very derogative. You know? If you said it to an Asian person, it's very derogative. If you said it to a white person, they'd probably laugh it off. Different types of languages is the casual racism. And, you know, I'm all for it personally, you know. I've talked to you about my wife being mixed, our son's mixed race. So the conversations I was given, I know I'm going to have to give it to him, but on the contrary, I want him to be able to just be free and not have to worry about people like that. And so that's why I'm glad you came on to touch it, because, you know, I see everyone talking about football and everything, and, you know, I'm learning as well. I'm still learning my trade on that, and it's brilliant. And we talked about something about we're passionate about, and this is what I'm actually doing at work. You know, leading the way. So, like, I thought, okay, well, I've got a little bit of a platform on YouTube. You know, let's get people's using it, because the generation of society is moving that people watch YouTube more than they watch the TV now.
Mate, YouTube is TV, isn't it, now?
Yeah, well, there you go. And shout out Sonny for that comment. Love to you, little bro. I think we need the up and coming generation, because my best friend is a good few years younger than me, and you know, I said something to him about holiday. I said to him, Adam, he said, "Oh, about this country." I went, "Oh, what's racism like?" And he just looked at me. He said, "What do you mean?" I was like, "Well, is there racism in that country? Because I wouldn't really go there with my wife or son." And he paused and he thought, "I've never had to think about that." I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "That's just, do you know what it is?" And it sunk into him. He's like, "Wow." You know, but let's look. Thank you so much for that, Adam. I just want to we'll finish up with something nice as well. That is nice, you know, but it's something I feel very passionate about, as well as Man United, believe it or not. Just before you go, let's get a score prediction.
Oh man, I said it. I think I've done about 2 videos. I've done a couple with other people now, and I've stuck with the same one. I'm gonna go for the Desmond, mate. That's what I'm going with. Yeah, 2-2. 2-2. I just think if we go at it the right way, then we can get that 2-2 draw. I just think we can't hold out at the back. We just can't. I don't see a clean sheet coming. Confidence isn't high enough. I expect City and their quality. I'm not ignorant to it, even though I'm a mad red.
Yeah.
But you've got to accept that we're coming up against quality, and they probably will get their chances. And with what they've got in front of goal, I do think they will take some.
Yeah.
But I do feel like we have got a threat. We have got a strong part in this team. We have got some weapons. So I think if we can utilise them, and it all comes down to the formation, but I think he will get some sort of reaction out of the players. I think he will after what happened, and that's why I'm going with the 2-2. I think our reaction and City's quality and confidence right now, that's why I'm going with the 2-2.
Well, there you've had it, guys. I'm going for... I think the way I know the game's going to go, I think we need to be clinical. We're going to be clinical. I'm going to say we win... I think we win 3-2, just. And
I'll take it.
I know. I think we will concede, but I think we will score.
Yeah.
And I just think that in a foot race, Diaz and Laporte are not catching Greenwood and Rashford, so I can see some fouls being committed. You know, you never know. Cheeky penalty as well, Adam.
We need that penalty, don't we?
Listen, guys, thank you so much for watching. this has been Bits and Bobs meets Adam Matic. Please, if you haven't so, like and share. And let's get the awareness raised. And hopefully, if you're a United fan, let's get a win. And everyone, I'm sorry, Adam, I do apologize. Where's my manners? Please give your socials so people know where to find you.
Well, you get me. My YouTube channel is there, right there below me at Mad Red United, and my socials are on that page as well. But you can get me on Instagram at adsutd, so ADZUTD. In Twitter, you're Adam Matic. It's still sticking, so I've had to go with it. So yeah, you'll find me at Adam Matic on Twitter. But yeah, if you are unstuck on any of them, Twitter or Instagram, they're on my YouTube page as well. That's the easiest one to recognise, which is right there underneath me.
Brilliant. Just before you go, Adam, I've got a question actually. Sentiment FC asked me a question about Van de Beek and Ollie. If there's a bit of a Dutch beef, because remember the comments Van Persie said about Ollie, and obviously his unwillingness to play him. Do you think he has a grudge or like a beef over him? Just because obviously Sentiment FC wants to know. And yeah, it's a good question actually.
Yeah, man. I think there is something wrong there because we're over a quarter of the way through the season. Now, Champions League's gone, and we've hardly seen Van de Beek. You know what I mean? We're out of that competition. So these people coming up saying, you give it time, season's only just started. And people, we're out of the Champions League. The season is well and truly on. Exactly. And we've still not seen him start. Do you know what I mean? He's got to be something going on behind the scenes for me, mate. There really has. Because for a player of that quality who starts every single week for the Dutch team, for everyone to be saying what they're saying about him, how good he is, and for Ole to stubbornly not play him and stick to his guns, it will be the end of him. It will be the end of Ole, because these players will last longer than the managers. We know that. 100%. He has to realise sometimes he's got players sat there, mate. Look at Lingard, Romero, Rojo, Jones.
Ridiculous, isn't it?
Just rotting away, mate. His refusal to play. I mean, I'd take Rojo in the derby.
Oh yeah,
because I know I'd get some passion out of him. And don't get me wrong, my issue with Rojo is the fact that he's never fit, and we shouldn't have him for that. But Van de Beek, it's the same sort of scenario with him. He can't if you cannot find a way to play a quality player like that, then you should not be the Manchester United manager. It's as simple as that for me, mate. You've got to have more, because another manager comes in, I guarantee there'll be one name. Well, next to Bruno, there'll be one player that definitely makes that starting lineup, and that's Donny van de Beek.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, he goes into every other team in this league, no problem. I don't think if Klopp had him, he'd be playing every week. He would be playing every week.
100%. Well, thank you for that. There's the skipper. Yeah. So what podcast to start? Shout out Usman.
Pogba's not starting, mate. He's not starting.
He's not. Unfortunately, he's not. No. But listen, guys. Make sure you like. Adam, thank you so much for coming on.
No problem,
I need to get my ass on the terrace now because that's Terry messaging me. So, no, thank you so much to everyone. And, tune in, guys, for the next episode of